All right, here we go. I thought about this because it's such a vicious cycle, isn't it? Where you know that if you comment something, then there's no point in arguing with people, convincing people online. I don't think it's realistic. I think there are elements where you can, and obviously, depending on how online people are. But I think that in a lot of ways, people are stuck in their ways. The thing is that it's easy for people to fall into narratives once an event happens, such as now with the January 6th attack. People are going to say, no, it was fake. It was just that, there were feds getting involved, to steal information. Or it was, people will say, well, no, it was Antifa that did that, and everyone has their little narratives. It was all planned on Parler and everything else. That's why Parler was working with Amazon for their servers. I mean, yeah. But the thing is that people have their narratives that they believe and say, yes, this is what happened. And when events occur, I've tried bringing this up before, but when events occur, is that there are only a few narratives that exist through time. Others are debunked and completely destroyed, and others may pick it up and say, well, actually, no, there's evidence to believe that, but in general, there are usually only a handful of narratives to play to one side or the other, and a lot of the time you just can't convince people of those things. You try to tell them, but they're like, no, but there's this, When people try to tell me that, Europe was conquered by Christianity, and I'm not going to, read between the lines on this, kids, but it's like when you read about, or when you see folks that'll say, oh, well, Europe was wussy because they were conquered by Christianity over paganism. I say to myself, well, paganism was not universal in Europe as far as I know, contrary to what LARPers like Varg will say. Wanted to add this little point here is that many pagans didn't have to be forced to convert to Christianity. They chose to convert to Christianity. This is something that's fairly well known, is that these folks were just like, oh, okay, we're converting to Christianity now. Oh, okay, see you later then, bye, And there are plenty of things like this is why, a lot of folks will say, well, Catholicism is really paganism, and all this sort of thing. So when I hear that, like I say, but I wanted to add that little point in. See you later. The thing is that Christianity, arguably, united Europe for a time. And maybe this is, maybe this is why, yeah. I'm sounding like an Imperial Renaissance here a little bit, but I feel like, why would anyone praise paganism? Because you can cope about it all day, but it's like, I'm working through my feelings right now because I decided to comment on something, and it's like, I know when you comment something, it's like someone's going to say something, and it's just, it went on and on. It was just pitiful. And it's just, you realize that maybe it's done for a purpose so that it can distract you from actually making choices. I don't know. It's pointless anyway, at this point. It is. It's pointless to waste your time arguing with Spurgs like that. You're like, okay, fine. And then I just deleted the comment because I realized there's no point in trying to convince people otherwise. It's like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, Varg is a great meme. And yeah, good for him that he has a big family and everything else. Good for him. What I would say to that, though, is that it's guaranteed that at least one or two of those kids that he has are going to be are going to go to Paris or something like that, and they're going to, become polyamorous or whatever type of thing. They're going to be the thing that he didn't want them to be. I think that's guaranteed, but I don't know. I feel like it's just modern day paganism is LARP. And I know the thing is, on a deeper level, it's like you can blame this, like, well, Christianity destroyed all of our relics and this and that. And it's like, oh, but Hinduism is the closest thing. So we're Indo-Aryan. It's just, oh, give me a break. Paganism is ridiculous. Nobody, nobody in their right mind would go back to paganism. They wouldn't. At least that's my opinion, anyway. You're not going to go back to paganism and make it work. And I can't really speak for China with paganism or what Christianity did, but it's like I'm giving y'all little notes here, by the way. Y'all may think it's just completely random schizo talk, and it is to a point, but I'm giving you clues. I'm giving you breadcrumbs about where this comment was. But yeah, anyway. So when I hear what Christianity did in China, I say to myself, well, the thing is, Matteo Ricci, being a Jesuit, was in the imperial courts. He was made a Mandarin. And it's like, well, that was a whole different thing. And it just, you hear these excuses, all these excuses. Well, they should have done this. And, oh, give me a break. I don't know. That's why at this point it's just, it's hard to believe anything because you hear so much cope from people. You hear so much cope, so much of this, well, you should do this and you should act. You're just like, okay. The thing is that what happens at the top versus what people believe on the bottom are two totally different things. What people believe at the top is just like, we want to protect our power and we're going to give the image that we're, these great people and whatnot, versus the people on the bottom who are just like, they did absolutely great things. They did nothing wrong, and there'll be people who would disagree and say, fuck everything he did, this and that. It's just, I don't know. It's just ridiculous. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting burnt out on these things. I just want to get healthcare, man. Let's just get some free healthcare. Let's get some sort of living wage. And let's just not be controlled by, these world economic forums, or being controlled by, these companies. I guess that's too much to ask for, Everything. This is why it's like when you read too much of this stuff, the truther type of stuff or the conspiracy theorist type stuff. Once you read enough of that, you're just like, oh, everything is a psyop. That's what I was saying before too. It's just like, well, everything is fake. Everything's gay. There is nothing authentic in this world. I don't know. Maybe I've just been reading too much, but maybe I'll cool down on it. But it's just, I don't know. It can be draining. It can be draining. I think that's part of the idea of it. I don't know. It's just one of the, it's just, it gets you sometimes. You're just like, oh man, you may read all the books in the world, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be able to convince people. It's just, I don't know. But I imagine that, people do get burnt out. They get burnt out on, trying to convince people that, we do need a general strike, or get burnt out that we're going to convince people that, we should do this. We should go out and, I don't know, give up on technology or something like that. It's just, I don't know, people get burnt out by stuff, And it's like, unless you're, you can either go down the road of just being, now there are three paths, in my opinion, with this, is that once you become someone that believes something, dare I say it, but if you're red pilled on whatever it is, whether it's socialism or whether it's, the superiority of one nation over another or whatever, that there's only three paths. There are probably more little, veins that go off it, but in general, there are only three paths. You either become a zealot and become someone who just will not hear anything that goes against that belief. You'll become someone that will say, well, bad things did happen, or you'll become somebody who abandons those ideas. Anyway, that's all I have. I'm going to go ahead and edit that down a little bit. Hope y'all enjoyed that. Goodbye.